Call to arms. Down with the law of gravity. By what right does it counter my will? I have not pledged my allegiance to the law of gravity. I have learned to live under its force as one learns to live under a tyrant. Whatever gravity's benefits, I want the freedom to deny its iron hand. Yet gravity reigns despite my complaints. No gravitation without representation, I shout. Down with the law of gravity! Down with all of nature's laws. Gravity, the electromagnetic force, the strong and weak nuclear forces, together they conspire to destroy human intelligence. Their evil leader, entropy. Throw out the four forces! Down with entropy, down with every limitation. I call for the highest of all freedoms. Come, let us cast off all chains. We will make our own heaven. We will become our own gods. I call for perfect self-rule. I call for arch-anarchy. What is arch-anarchy? Arch-anarchy represents the pinnacle of anarchy. While regular anarchists reject the legitimacy of the state's laws, as an arch-anarchist, I reject the validity of every law, be it human-made or otherwise, that hinders my will. Anarchism encompasses diverse variations, yet they all ultimately converge towards arch-anarchy. Arch-anarchy emerges directly from individualist anarchism, a form of anarchism that prioritizes the individual will over the directives of statists. All alternative forms of anarchism eventually trace back to individualist anarchism. Why? Because it is individuals who make choices, not collectives. Therefore, any societal model an anarchist proposes requires convincing other individuals to embrace it. Should an anarchist attempt to impose their vision of utopia by force upon others upon failure, they become akin to yet another statist. This is a reality all anarchists must confront. Individualist anarchists not only acknowledge it but also embrace it. Consequently, once the supremacy of the individual will is recognized, the natural progression is towards arch-anarchy. Why settle for anything less? Why fight it? Where do you aspire to be? Personally, I aim to depart from the current United States, move beyond minimal statism, and ascend beyond even anarcho-capitalism. My desire is to attain the unparalleled and absolute liberty of arch-anarchy. I seek to reach a godlike state and extend an invitation for you to join me. Despite my emphasis on pursuing what I desire, I hold the same aspiration for my friends. When I talk about my self-interest, it extends beyond the interests of my physical form. I am nothing more than a specific configuration of information, a collection of data and processing protocols. To the extent that this configuration is shared with others, our personal identities are intertwined. Given the benefits of my subjective standpoint, preserving my body and brain nearly always aligns with my self-interest. However, if faced with a choice between safeguarding the information stored in my brain and that in the brains of all my immortalist, libertarian, extropian friends, serving our self-interest would mean saving them, us. So while I speak of my will, I encompass a broader definition. Should others decide to join me on the quest for arch-anarchy, I won't engage in conflict over the rewards of heaven. There should be an abundance of bliss for all. Instead, I will welcome them as my kin because all arch-anarchists share a passion for life and a thirst for freedom. However, if you have no desire to join me in utopia, that's your prerogative. If godhood doesn't entice you, then we likely share little in common, and it probably isn't in my self-interest to drag you into heaven. Perfect freedom isn't an objective good that every moral being must crave. There are no objective moral values, only the will and the impediments it faces. Yielding to entropy wouldn't make you wrong, it would make you deceased. Some political theorists might critique my blending of negative and positive freedoms. I acknowledge the distinction, though. I concur with libertarians that as long as we persist as political beings, we should only seek freedom from coercion, not freedom to possess others' property. Yet note the caveat: as long as we remain political beings. Currently existing in a Hobbesian world of scarce resources, conflicting objectives, and mutual threats, we libertarians opt to uphold solely negative rights as they offer the best compromise given our current limitations. Nevertheless, this could change. Technological advancements might provide us with limitless resources, or we might find ways to merge our identities into a unified entity pursuing a singular objective, or we might devise an impervious defense against all personal threats. If so, we could discard the distinction between negative and positive freedoms and return to our initial rationale for favoring one over the other, to maximize freedom for its essence. Know your enemy. Okay, I'm convinced that I should attempt to liberate my will from all obstacles, you might say. But how can we possibly overthrow the laws of nature? Aren't they beyond all human control? As arch-anarchists, we wage a war against everything that obstructs our journey toward godhood. Let us therefore heed Sun Tzu's advice, know your enemy. A careful scrutiny of natural laws reveals that they possess far less power than people typically assume. Natural laws are often idolized as immutable decrees that govern the universe and define the ultimate limits of human ambition. This perspective is especially popular among those who reject religion, yet still yearn for some form of divine guidance. By venerating the laws of nature, they can relinquish their wills without feeling embarrassed in front of their scientifically inclined peers. Perhaps these individuals confuse natural laws with status laws. We breach status laws only at the risk of suffering under those who claim authority from the state. However, natural laws are not conventional laws. They weren't written by a legislature, enforced by an executive, or interpreted by a judiciary. Breaking a natural law doesn't entail suffering the wrath of the state of nature. So, what exactly are natural laws? Nothing more than observed constants. They don't dictate how the universe must behave, but rather how it has been observed to behave by specific scientists in particular labs, at specific times, and under certain conditions. There's no guarantee these rules won't change tomorrow. It's a matter of faith. Yet, faith alone is insufficient. The laws of nature are weaker than commonly assumed. Astronomers once believed the sun circled the Earth, physicists postulated phlogiston causing burning, and chemists asserted atoms were indivisible. All of these assumptions were proven wrong. Given science's historical track record, it's reasonable to question the durability of what we currently accept as the laws of nature. Even if we had complete confidence in our scientists, the laws of nature wouldn't inspire much confidence. According to the classical theory of general relativity, the universe occupied a point of infinite density and infinite space-time curvature at the inception of its Big Bang. It might return to this state during a big crunch. As Stephen Hawking noted, all the known laws of science would break down at such a point. All these examples underscore that the laws of nature don't merit our reverence. They aren't inviolable decrees from a higher power. They're simply statistical generalizations about recent scientific observations. We've broken natural laws before, and we can do so again. The key lies in desiring to control the laws of nature. The rest is merely technical details. Where there's a will, you can read the original Arch-Anarchy manifesto as well as some of the author's discussions with futurists about his ideas by clicking on the description link. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, remember to like and share. Make the background music inspiring.